RX-7 is all dressed up, but doesn't have anywhere to go, unfortunately. So I don't know when this video will come out, but essentially a couple of days ago or whatever, it was announced that Heathcote Park is closing down. So we have nowhere in Victoria that's a quarter-mile track that I can race this at. So it's unregistered, small tyre, radial car, lots of horsepower. Calder Park is open, but I'm not sure you can actually race cars there, but you need a prepped track to race a car like this. You can't just, it's not just, it's not a Toyota Camry. It's not a, 400 horsepower, whatever, BA Falcon or something. It is a lot of power and a small tyre and a very, very temperamental engine in terms of power band. So you need a proper racetrack to go racing at. So unfortunately, them's the brakes. We'll just have to wait. But what that means is it's time to work on that thing. And I've already started working on it, and I didn't film any of it. So I thought I might as well just, crack out the old camera and give you a look at what I've done so far and what the plans are. So I don't need to do too much to this car in terms of, well, that's probably a lie. I need to do a lot to this car. It's barely even a rolling, it's just a rolling shell with absolutely nothing else in it at all. It doesn't even have brakes or anything on it at all. So it's just literally rolls. Should I say it used to roll. So what I want to do with this car, as you can see, I mean, the diff's just hanging down there and that doesn't have a wheel on. So you've got some awesome camber here. But normally the way this diff had been built and these tires, because they're obviously big 28x9s, but the offset that they have, how the diff sits at the moment, these tires, which I won't be running by the way, but these tires actually sit almost here, like some kind of ridiculous gasser or something. So that's awful. What I want to do is I want this tire sitting in there a fair bit. It will be the radials off that, but I want this tire sitting in there a fair bit and probably sitting about here in terms of on the tire. So just like a really aggressive low look. Unfortunately, you'll see pretty smallish sort of wheel tubs to be able to do that, but you'll see the shock is inbound. This is the actual rail here. So what you've got in terms of a wheel tub is you've got a shock absorber and a spring and then the chassis roll over here. So what that means is that you can quite easily mini tub this car. So that's what I've already started on over here. And I'll just position that bit that's fallen down up here and I'll give you a look at what that looks like. All right, so that's what that essentially looks like and how it gets done. So you just slice the wheel tub in half and then you're left with a bit of a gaping chasm here that needs to be filled in. So that'll be easy enough to do. That's literally just, all you're doing is stretching the wheel tub essentially. This has been done since bloody Jesus was a carpenter, so it's not like I'm reinventing the wheel or anything here. This is fully legal for the category that I race in, Street 289. It clearly says in the rules that you can do this to accommodate the size of the tire. So yeah, now back in the day, the Street 289 class sort of started as what was called the untubbed class. So what I've done here would have been a massive no-no and would have been very controversial. In fact, Paul Pfeiffer, when he had the white RX-3, had essentially not as aggressive as this, but he had the internal guard sort of squared off. And there was a lot of conjecture over, was that car legal for the untubbed class as it was called back then? And it was the fastest car around back then with that size, like I think it was a 28x9 tire, but it wasn't making those lists because it had guard modification and it was a big no-no back then. But as time's gone by and rules get bent and then rules get solidified, this kind of stuff is completely okay now. In Street 289 or Osmod, it's the Andra classes or whatever. So this is all good. It means that the car looks better, is safer, can set it up better as well because it's not looking ridiculous and cutting up parts of the external bodywork to make the tire fit, which is a big part of that sort of Osmod class. It's meant to still look exactly like a normal car on the outside especially. So what I'm going to do next is cut a bit more out, and I'll explain a bit of what I'm going to cut out. So just like the FD, I will be running a 4-link in this car as well. and you can see where I've cut out like an access hole here just to do some measurements and stuff like that. Now, one of the big things about Street 289 and that is you have to leave like all factory floor plan and that. So if this, for what would be called like a back half car, would mean you would cut out all of this floor, basically from that middle sort of bulkhead cross member there back, all of this would be missing, and you'd have like big carbon tubs, and you'd have like aftermarket frame rails and that. So this car will retain, and there they are, factory frame rails that run all the way there. And all I'm doing is cutting, little hidey holes basically for the 4-link bars to go through, and there'll be another one cut out here. And then what I'm going to do is this bulkhead, because this is obviously like, it's probably 1 mil steel, is I'll be cutting out a section of that bulkhead all the way across, and I'll probably do like an RHS cross member up the top there in, I don't know, it'll probably be like 2x3 by 2 mil or something like that, I think. And then that'll get welded in and gusseted in all there. And then on the bottom, I'll probably do like a detachable tail shaft loop sort of thing for the rear tail shaft. But basically, yeah, 4-link brackets need somewhere to weld to. So I've got to make an actual decent cross member, because if I was to weld to this, this isn't the strongest. You think of putting 1,000+ horsepower through that, and it ain't gonna go overly well. So overall, I haven't had to do much else in terms to what the factory cage is. The only thing is I have had to cut out, there was a bar that run from here to here, but as you can see, this is going to fall now. 3, 2, 1, there it goes. There was a bar there that run from there to there, and you can see the remnants of it down there. That's going to hit the new location of the stretch tub, so I'm just going to have to cut that bar out, and then likely I'll re-weld it, and probably I think this bar has to also, or this connector here has to come out as well, because the 4-link brackets will be up here and they'll hit this. So I'll be cutting that out. So I just need to work out where that bar will actually come back to. There'll be a bar that has to get welded in across here for like anti-roll bar and the shocks. So likely I'll tie that point back from there to there. And the reason why that bar is there is, you can see where the cage bends. Everywhere, I forget what the rule is. I think it's like in every sort of, within 3 inches or something like that of a bend, you've got to have a supporting bar basically. Yeah, I've got to do that. I've got to make a decision too on, obviously it's got like just one door cross member, so it doesn't have like an X or anything, so I've got to make a decision on what I want to do for that. I've also got to decide, this bar seems like really high where it's been made, so to get into this car, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. I'm 6'2", I've got big long legs, so it's yeah, when the car's pretty tight to get in and out of, and that bar is really high. Let me just try and show you where, so you can see where this bar comes up to in the car. It's almost like it's almost at my top of the shoulder height, which I think is fine. It's meant to be between the shoulders and your elbow or something like that. But if I come across to how I made the FD, and you can see where the FD is, the bar, and it's down here. So it makes it, as you can see, sort of in the opening of the FD, it's significantly easier to get in and out of the car. Now, safety is obviously important and paramount, but a factor of safety as well is being able to get in and out of the car. And if you see here what the door opening looks like compared to the FD, you can see how aggressive that bar angle is, so to speak. So you can see like my head there is probably going to be at the top of there. So I mean, you could potentially raise the seat up. I don't know if I'll be running that Kirky in that anyway, but Yeah, I don't know. I have to see based on where I have to. First, I have to mount the seat that I want to run in this car, which is probably the seat from the FD. And then based on seating positions and the rules that dictate where you can actually put that bar, then I have to work out where I want that door bar to be. Because, yeah, I mean, I can leave the passenger one where it is. That's irrelevant because ain't no passenger in this car. But as a driver, need to be able to get in and out of the car really easily. So, yeah, mini update. That's where we're at. I've got to get a diff housing for it. So I'll be selling this diff. So this is a complete Ford 9-inch, 31 spline axles, bolt-in for like a Gen 1 RX-7. It's got rear brakes. It's got rear disc brakes and everything like that. So if it's got wheelie bar brackets as well, and we've got the wheelie bars as well. So if you are in the market for a bolt-in 9-inch diff with, for a Gen 1 RX-7, let me know because I have one for sale. So, I mean, to build one of these kind of things, to build one of these diffs these days with like a center and everything, it's literally like almost 10 grand. So I'm looking to sell the diff and the wheelie bars and potentially the wheels too, if you want these wheels with these slicks are old as hell. But I'm looking to sell this for like bolt-in 3 grand. You get your own center for 2.5 or whatever, and then you're set. So you can't even build a Hilux these days for that kind of price. So if you know someone that wants one, tell them to hit me up. And I've got the diff here ready and waiting, and they can get going. But yeah, first things first is getting all the rear end sort of stuff done so I can get the car back rolling. Goals for this car: you want to build it so it's well and truly compatible with all the rules. Depending on how fast you may go well and truly into the future. If you run faster than 750 in Australia, you have to have what's called a full floating diff rear end, which is where essentially the axles, you can pull it out. Like imagine if you know how trucks work sort of thing, where, the hub is basically, a hub is welded to the diff, and then the hub bolts onto that, and it's sort of free spinning, and the axle just sort of slides. You can pull the axle all the way out while the wheel is essentially still attached to the car. So Race Products pretty much renowned for some really good floater stuff. So I'll probably get one of the Race Products kits. So I need to get the diff. I've made some brackets. So gonna go something different sort of with the brackets in the traditional 4-link ones. Obviously it's a low power, so to speak, radial car, small tire, often gonna race on lower prep tracks. So I'll go through some of the brackets when I've got them, and how they designed, who designed them for me, because I had an idea, but I can't use any of the SolidWorks or whatever all those programs are. So go through all that stuff, and yeah, I'll do some more cutting. And then the next time you see this car, it will likely have a cross member across there, and the wheel tubs might be tacked in, and we might have a diff in the car and that. So realistically, I don't know how long Heath it's going to be done. So I was just sitting here not touching this car at all because I just wanted to finish that car, run the time that car could run, and then retire the car, sort of, so to speak, and then take everything out of it. But if it's going to be 2, 3, whatever plus months that Heathcote is down, I just got to start on this thing. So, the weather is starting to turn in that it's not, well, it's still bloody freezing. So it's, but it's manageable, so to speak, in that. So, we'll start working some of this stuff as long as I can do it, get it to a point where it's rolling. I could potentially roll this out, push this back on the hoist, take the gearbox out of that thing, and then use a dummy engine and that to start mocking up all of that stuff. And then, then I can do some other stuff, engine bay wiring and things like that, and making fuel cells and making new exhaust manifold or whatever. So, but number one thing, get all this done. So, all right, that should just about do us for today. Mini update. And yeah, I might film some more along the way. Will I film any of me cutting it up and doing all that stuff. It's honestly, it is just so hard. Also, especially when you're grinding stuff, it just damages, like a spark hits the lens. And if you've ever seen what happens to like your glass, if you don't cover it when you're angle grinding it, that happens to your camera. So if you've got like $1,500 camera and you're cutting and grinding stuff, one spark can ruin the camera. That's it. You get a dot on the lens and it's done. So I'm not going to film any of this kind of fab stuff. It's just too hard, too dangerous for the camera and the phone or whatever I'm using. And yeah, I'll just give you some progress. At least that's better than nothing, I guess. So until next time, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.